Hello and welcome back to Adaptation, the ultimate vlog for film adaptations and the original material they're based on. I'm Jessica Dunn, and this week we're going to briefly cover a few interesting reiterations of a popular modern book series, The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. I say this is an interesting adaptation because, well, it's not really just one adaptation. A film based on the first book in the series, City of Bones, was released in 2013, and then earlier this year witnessed a remake television series of 13 episodes, which again followed the storyline of City of Bones, but completely rebooted all of the characters, the plot lines, the settings, pretty much reintroduced you to the world anew. So for a book series that's less than 10 years old, to have witnessed two different adaptations within a couple years of each other, I mean, that's even giving the Spider-Man franchise a run for its webs. Let's take this opportunity to take a close look at each of these, starting with, of course, the original material itself. The Mortal Instruments series began in 2007 with the publication of the first novel, City of Bones. Written by Cassandra Clare, City of Bones introduces us to Clary Frey, a seemingly normal girl whose entire world is rocked when she witnesses a violent attack at a nightclub that only she can see. I mean, the attack, not the nightclub. Enter Jess, the apparent attacker and quintessential bad boy, who introduces Clary to the hidden world of the Shadow Hunters, a line of part human, part angel warriors tasked with defending the world against demons, werewolves, vampires, fairies, and other dark creatures. When Clary's mother is kidnapped, she discovers that not only can she see the world of the Shadow Hunters, but that she's actually been a part of it all along. In fact, her mother has been hiding it from her entire life. This is the barest, most basic intro that I can give to the series, and this isn't even touching on a quarter of the plotline of the first book, or even a fraction of the series characters. They are some hefty, action-packed books, and there's 6 of them to boot, so it's a pretty tall order for adapting these to the big screen. Or any screen, for that matter. But before we delve into our 2 different versions, I must insert a disclaimer. Up until now, I've kind of managed to avoid spoilers, but I really don't think I can do that any longer. So if you haven't read the series, can you just go away and then, come back later after you've read it? Thanks. You think they're gone? Okay. The 2013 film, The Mortal Instrument, City of Bones, was directed by Harold Zwart and starred Lily Collins as Clary, Jamie Campbell Bower as Jess, Kevin Zegers and Jemima West as Jace's adoptive brother and sister, Alec and Isabel Lightwood, Robert Sheehan as Clary's best friend Simon, and Godfrey Gao as Grand Warlock Magnus Bane. I honestly just couldn't shorten that character list. Who could? When this film came out, the critics said the box office numbers, it just wasn't that great, okay? Though the cast list was promising and the original material was undoubtedly popular among the YA market, the plotline was just not easy to fit in a feature-length movie. The history of the Nephilim Shadowhunters was so rich and complex in the books that it seemed to be dumbing down that backstory within the film, throwing in trite explainers to fill in the inevitable plot holes. And while the end of the film definitely left the story open for its many sequels, they also unwisely took away the biggest trump card they had in the plotline of the first 2 books, by revealing right off that Clary and Jess are not actually brother and sister. So much for 2 books worth of longing and heartache and angst before revealing that juicy secret. No wonder the studio halted production on the sequel, because they had something else in mind. So instead of a big screen version of City of Ashes, Mortal Instruments fans were thrown a different bone in the form of Shadowhunters, the television series, which premiered in January 2016. Though the series was actually created by the same studio that made the film, they rebooted absolutely everything else, from the cast to the set. This time around, Claire was played by Catherine McNamara, and Jess by Dominic Sherwood. Other actors included Alberto Rezende as Simon, Matthew Daddario as Alec, Emerald Taubey as Isabel, and Harry Shum Jr. as Magnus. I'm not gonna lie. The television series hasn't done amazingly, but the longer form was a definite improvement and a better format for the material. The series was able to capitalize on episode-ending cliffhangers for excitement, and could develop the characterization much more over the 13-episode arc. And it received a much warmer reception from fans, though also a few critiques for taking itself a little too seriously at times. In my personal opinion, the acting could be a bit cheesy. Let's correct that. The acting could be a lot cheesy. But all in all, there's little doubt which is actually the preferred adaptation for fans of the Mortal Instruments series. So much so that Shadowhunters is getting something that City of Bones couldn't have hoped for, a continuation of the story. A second season of Shadowhunters is expected to be released in early 2017 and will probably feature about 20 episodes. There's so much more I could talk about. I haven't even talked about any of the characters or the plot lines or the fantasy aspect of it, but we're just running out of time. In retrospect, this Shadowhunters spotlight may have actually done better as a podcast, where our host really could have spent time analyzing the television series for its character portrayals and its plotline, rather than shoehorning it into a few minutes. You know, sometimes the shorter formats just can't get the job done. See what I did there? Anyway, we'd love to hear your input on either version of the Mortal Instruments series. What did you love or hate about the film? What didn't work in the television show? Which cast did you prefer as a whole, or which individual actress did you like? Would you have cast someone completely different? We want to know everything. So leave your comments in the section below. We did happen to record a podcast on the Mortal Instruments City of Bones, so feel free to check out that episode or others on iTunes, and visit our Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter accounts for more adaptation goodies. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you in a few weeks, and until then,